And welcome back, everybody. It is the modern gaming edition of the Red Leaf Retrocast. It's called the Modern Cast. It's episode 34, July 2020 games. It's myself, Jay, and JD, that's me, back for more.
Yourself, Jay, and JD. So were you two people
That's
now?
right. Hey, look, I am so awesome and drinking, so maybe my words went together, or maybe I'm just that awesome that you gotta count me twice.
But you've lost a letter and then gained a letter. I don't get it.
Oh, well. Oh, did you hear that? It was wonderful.
Well, good for you.
Been on this Vermont hipster beer kick.
Certain people...
The nights continue on. We watched some bad wrestling before recording this.
Hey, we said it was good. We both agreed that it was good. And second of all, some people can't drink at 10 a.m. in the morning.
I mean, who's stopping you?
I've got to go somewhere later, so kind of life.
Nah, come on. Public transportation. So this is, for those wondering...
Hang on. Stop. Say that again. Oh. Public transportation. What? In today's modern age, do you think that is a safe idea?
Yeah, what's the problem?
The COVID?
What's that?
Okay, go ahead.
I heard it's conspiracy by those right-wing activists or whatever political thing
that
we're talking about this week.
TikTok.
Oh, the evil TikTok invading our personal lives and telling us all our secrets. What will our dances ever... I don't know. I lost it. So this is Frost Beer Works from Heinsberg, Vermont. Plush Double IPA. Imperial Pale Ale. 1 pint, 8% alcohol by volume. I'm a fan, but don't drink it with... It's not a good meat pairing beverage, I would say.
So don't drink the beer with meat.
Right. So I have another one, actually not from Vermont, so I went to New Hampshire, next door, basically. And that one actually says drink with beans, and I had that with meat, and it was way better. So
you're saying that you need to change your palate for when you're drinking these beers to make them even better.
Indeed. It's the same as kind of whiskey and pouring it in specific glasses or scotch or you know the drill, Jay. I don't need to explain these things to you. July games. So we're discussing 5 games again.
I mean, just before you move on, I kind of drink my whiskey and scotch and stuff like an animal, but that's fine. I just usually put it in a plastic bottle and mix cola and drink it.
Heathen.
Indeed.
I might have to sacrifice a goat just to cleanse my mind of what you have done.
July games. Moving on.
July games. My mom will join us at the tail end of the podcast, closes out, discussing Ghost of Tsushima and what she thinks. Let's see if she can pronounce it right.
Oh, I have $5 on... Have you recorded it with her yet or not?
No, I have not.
Okay, don't tell her what it's called. Just give her the name, type it out, and I have $5 on her stuffing it up at least 3 times.
3 times stuffing it up. Got it. I usually ask her, like, what game she's up for review, but anyways, of course we have Ghost of Sushi. We got Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 2, Grounded. I know it's early access, but it's a game nonetheless that a lot of people are playing. Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise. I wouldn't call it that.
That's false
Paper
advertisement
Mario,
right there.
Oragami King is our last one. So there we go. Those are our 5 games, Jay. And this is looking like our last... possibly our last Modern Game Cast until maybe even the PS5 comes out.
Look, I'm sure if something big comes out, or if you and I just want to talk about a game, we can do that. Or hell, maybe we'll put something solo up and be like, JD, I play this. Here's my thoughts on it. You can put it up by itself.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do our Halo versus Resistance series that we kind of spoke about before.
We did, because I kind of want to go back and play Resistance because I've never played it.
Yeah, I only played like a bit of the first one, but I have all 3, and then I have Game Pass, so I could easily play the Halos.
I've played the Halos.
I've already played the first Halo for the podcast, but no, it wasn't Halo. It was Gears of War versus Resistance. What am I talking about?
Was it Gears? Well, either way, like I played both. I played both of those. I just haven't played Resistance.
Yeah. So we could do that.
We could.
Because we got Wasteland 3 coming out in August. I want to discuss Beyond a Steel Sky. That's a sequel to a point-and-click adventure that came out years and years ago. And it's not getting the best reviews, but it looks like something you would really like, Jay. It's kind of in the Walking Dead realm of storytelling.
So it's like a Telltale game.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
I'm in. You've already converted me.
So who knows? We might come back for an episode for August. Who knows?
Is Tony Hawk in August or is that in September?
I don't know. Could be any time.
Fair enough.
Maybe we'll splice August and September together.
We shall see.
Still doesn't put us out an episode until October.
We shall see.
Yeah. How you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
Yeah. Oh, drinking beer, working.
Fair enough. I've just
not getting the coronavirus. It's a big plus in my life right now.
That is also a very big plus. I have been watching a crap ton of ECW, and it is got a not bad undercard, but a terrible main event scene.
And what podcast would that be for?
That would be for Smack It Down.
I'm sure our listeners have heard of such a thing.
I'm sure they have too. And I don't think this week we have a guest, but that's fine, because after last week having an hour and a half of hearing the pretty much origin stories and up to date of Heathen Combat in New Zealand, I don't think we need a guest.
I see. Oh, what was that?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, Mom's yelling in the back again.
It's fine. I'm going to move in a moment.
All right, so let's get our first game going here. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon Dose. Did you ever play the first one, Jay?
I did not.
So there was a sequel. So the little background loosely is there was a Kickstarter for Bloodstained Spiritual of the Darkness or whatever. I just played that game. Ritual of the Night. And there was kind of an in-between, and if it hit its Kickstarter marker, they came out with Curse of the Moon, which is a NES version of, the Bloodstained series. And it got pretty decent reviews. It was really fun. I got it for the Vita. Yes, I have a Vita.
Oh,
and it was super fun.
Guess what? Subject of the Vita. I was going through something in my room, like a week or two ago. At this point, I moved something, and I find my frigging stack of Vita things, and I completely forgot that I had this, because that just goes to show how often I've used the Vita. But I found my Vita.
Oh, how about that? Maybe you could get Curse of the Moon.
Maybe I can. I mainly had it for Danganronpa,
like $10.
But it's a thing. Danganronpa and Persona is all I had it for.
I also have Danganronpa for the Vita. So, Curse of the Moon came out July 10th of 2020. I played the Switch version. If there was a Vita version, I would have played it. It has a Metacritic score of 82 out of 100, so not the greatest, not the worst. Kind of middle of the road. And I like what they did with the second one. They put co-op in it. They added more elements. It's still exactly the same game, where if you're so you have multiple characters, you can switch between them, Castlevania 3 style, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if a character dies, then watch out, kitty cat. Oh, he's looking to jump. He's looking to jump, Jay.
Sid.
Don't do it.
Sid.
Oh, don't. No.
Sid. Don't be a douche.
Oh boy. Well, if you hear the mic just start going crazy, that's you know why.
Why don't you just quickly move him?
Nope. Oh, there it is.
Sid, you son of a bitch!
Yeah. I'm always worried when he does that, because sometimes the mic gets a little staticky whenever I stop talking. And there's no way to fix that in the audio. And I don't realize that until after we've recorded. There's just no way to tell.
Well, you don't sound staticky, if that helps.
Yeah, so back to Curse of the Moon 2. Like I said, your characters can die as you go through a stage, and if you complete the stage, I should have tested this as I was playing it, because I like the game so much. I did really enjoy this. This is kind of Streets of Rage 4 love of the game for me. I think Streets of Rage 4 is still a little better, but anyways. In the first one, if a character dies, then in order to bring them back to life, you have to replay the stage back from the point in which they died. So it's got like that last save point.
It's got kind of permadeath.
Kinda, yeah. So I'm not sure if Curse of the Moon did that, because when a character would die, when I got to the boss fight, it would kick me back and the person would be back alive. So I'm not really sure. I I did watch a video of a couple Let's Players playing co-op just to see what that was like. It's tons of fun. It looks like it works perfectly well. You unlock characters as you complete the story again. It's it's easy enough for me to say, if you're a fan of the first one, you're gonna like this one. And it goes for about $20 on the Switch store. I'd say it's worth it. It's one of the more solid, you know what you're getting kind of games of 2020. Very happy. It's got an 8.7 user score, and so everyone who's a fan of this series is quite satisfied. I'm satisfied as well.
Well, that's all you need from a game. If you're satisfied, you're satisfied, and that is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I beat 2 boss battles. I pretty much got my fill of it. And the real reason why I stopped playing is I want a physical copy of this. So I'm waiting for limited. I read Limited Run Games is going to have a physical release of this. So
how much?
Just like probably like 30, 35.
So pretty much enough to like buy the digital, and then you just pay $10 really for the physical.
Yeah, correct. That's usually kind of how it works. You just pay the little bit extra, and they Limited Run Games likes to add a little bit extra fanfare to their releases. Like my Streets of Rage 4 physical copy that I got a cool little instruction manual with the full story, lots of character art. It's almost like an art book, really. And then it also came with the soundtrack, which I play in my car like at least once a week as I'm going to work. It's kick-ass soundtrack, so that's what I got extra with my Streets of Rage contract.
Nothing better than a good soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the friggin' the final cool. Sorry, not Final Fantasy, but the Bravely Default soundtrack. Like that gets played from time to time too.
Yeah, that's on my short list of games I want to complete within the next couple years. Especially the second one. Bravely Default second? No, Bravely Second. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's not at all confusing. Bravely Default, Flying Fairy, Bravely Second End Layer, Bravely Default 2.
Not at all confusing, but yeah, I want to play Bravely Second, or at least replay the first one, because I remember nothing of that game before Bravely Default Second
things go wrong. You travel... Wait, did you finish first one?
I don't remember if I beat it or not.
You know that you can...
That's why I want to play it again.
Here's a little interesting thing about that game. Like, you know how you got to, like, cleanse the crystals, blah, 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 blah.
Final Fantasy story.
Yeah. Did you know that, like, if you keep, like, cleansing them, you can actually shatter the crystal, and then it will actually reveal the quote-unquote big twist at the end of the game, like, a little bit early?
Cool.
Because, I don't want to give too much away if you haven't, like, finished it, but, and then on the home screen, where it says Bravely Default Flying Fairy, it changes, and it actually comes up and spells Bravely Default Lying Airy.
Okay.
Which Airy's one of the characters in the game. If that makes any sense to anyone out there listening who's finished it, you will understand. Nice little Easter eggy sort of reference that they put in there.
Yeah, there you go. So, our next game is Grounded. Something I played with Joey from the Retro Gaming Podcast. I got this on Game Pass. You know, $5. He paid $1 because it's his first month.
Whoa!
It's a game in early access. You can't do much in the game. You can pretty much do outside of like building a super base. Because it's a base building game, resource management kind of situation.
7 Days to Die, Minecraft, Subnautica, blah blah blah.
Yeah. We've all played these games before, one way or another. What separates this one is the fact that it's kind of Honey I Shrunk the Kids, but with base building.
How had this never been a thing before this? Because it's such a good idea.
Yeah, you'd think it's right in front of your face, or maybe technology just wasn't there to even think about something like this when Honey I Shrunk the Kids was a popular movie in pop culture.
Yeah.
You just couldn't make something like this back then.
True, but like you think that like out of all the generic ass resource management games we've had lately, like this should have been kind of up there for something.
I mean, you got Raft. Raft is kind of fun. That's kind of in a realm of situations kind of like that. But anyways, Grounded's by Obsidian, so yeah, our Obsidian boys are back. You pick between 4 characters. You can play solo. Pretty slow going and difficult to play solo. It's definitely a game that you want to play with friends online. It's, you make your weapons, you upgrade your weapons, you kill the things. The spiders in this game are fucking terrible.
Terrible.
Terrifying. I was saying terrible and terrifying at the same time. So terrible.
Terrifyingable.
Terrifyingable. So Joey and I were playing this. He's having just a fucking blast with the game, just exploring, trying to figure out places to go. It's a real shame. We had a big conversation about, at least with a couple of his friends and myself, because there was 4 of us playing it a few times, where we're so sad that games like this have to come out in early access all the time, because you like the game, and then you play it for a few days like we did. Then you're pretty much got your fill of it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get those updates for like a month minimum. And then you play it for an hour, and you're done again, did your thing, and then the full release comes out like a year or 2 later. Is there enough in the game to keep you coming back? That's always the worry, rather than just wait until the whole thing's out, or have early access and like 2 months later it comes out full, right? Where they can get through all the bugs because of the whole online aspect. Yeah. So I guess maybe I'll come back to Grounded in like 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Game comes out in full. It's very interesting in how you have to manage what resources they are. You have to you analyze them. I really like the death system in the game, where if you die, you either get respawned at the original point in which you start, or you can set up a camp, and unless it's destroyed, you can just set your spawn point to be at that camp, right?
Right.
So I really like that. Yeah, and if you have all your items and everything, you just you drop a backpack where you died, and you can go pick it up. And if you're playing online, nobody else can pick up your backpack but you. You're the only one that can see it.
Kind of like 7 Days to Die in that regard.
Yeah, kind of. And if I say that I log out and my backpack's still there, my buddy Joey can then see it because I logged out, and he can go pick up my stuff.
Huh. So rage quitting then is
So,
not
like,
really
if I got
a
it,
huge
if I
big deal.
Well, no, look at it this way. Say that man, I gotta go. I died. There's no way I can waste my time and go get that right now. Could you go get it for me? And then, just put it in a box or container and something, and then we'll pick this up again tomorrow. Just this game has a lot of the little things that make it really fun. It's got a really good addiction loop, which I'm a big fan of. I really like how the materials. So let's say level 1 bug is a soldier ant, okay? Level 2 bug is I don't know, just throwing out
the acid beetle.
The acid beetle, right. Level 3 is a ladybug. Level 4 is an weaver spider. And the final boss is like your wolf spiders that just are terrifying. They wreck your shit. It's game over if you come across one. You're just trying to book it out of there, right? You upgrade it's kind of like the Monster Hunter loop, where you upgrade your equipment to take on the next big boss animal thing above it. So it's got a very good battle loop to it. You wanna protect all your resources, and some resources will attract other bugs and everything to your base. I think you popped in voice chat when Joey and I were having a larval invasion. It was a larval invasion into our base, and it was like 20 of them.
Did you find out
we couldn't figure out why they kept coming.
What was it? Was it the grass, or what was it?
I think we came to the conclusion it was like the sap we were gathering in one location.
Is that like legitimately though a feature that is actually true, or is that something you guys are assuming?
No, so like you can set up lures, so you can attract these bugs. So let's say you're afraid that maybe you set up a temp camp too close to an anthill, and there's all these ants. You can set up a flower type lure, so the ants won't come to your base. They'll be attracted to the lure and just hang out over there. So you can do things to prevent those invasions, but it's just things you learn in the game. It's really quite fascinating. It's pretty janky in a lot of areas. Like the swimming's really bad. You can't really do anything there. The exploration factor is still out of this world, where there's everything just works really well in the game. It's very highly recommended. I will definitely revisit the game when it comes out in full. If Joey hooks me up, because he's really addicted to it. We were actively trying to break the game in a lot of areas, going into unmarked map areas that you could get to, but you're clearly not supposed to. We're like building stairs and shit. Really cool stuff. Obviously, I think the whole objective is to research, study, and then de-shrink yourself. Get yourself back to normal size.
That makes sense. Is there a reason that you're a tiny person?
It seems, first impression is you're meant to just do a temporary research project by being shrunk, but then the shrink ray malfunctioned, and you're all kind of messed up.
Huh. So,
yeah.
Might I ask a question, which
sure.
is something that I have heard about this game, and you didn't touch on, but apparently there's an arachnophobia mode, so like you can actually screw with the spiders a bit and make them not spidery.
Yeah. There's an arachnophobia mode where it's got a stage leveler 1 to 6, and the higher you scroll it, the more of just a non-existent blob it becomes.
So is that just for the spiders, or is that for like all of the bugs?
No, it's just for the spiders.
Do you like that feature or what? Because like if it's just for the spiders, that seems a bit odd.
Well, I mean, people are more afraid of spiders than, say, an ant.
You know, I get that, I do, but like, if you're going to go into the effort to put that as a feature for the game, why not put it in there for like everything and make it just a little bit like more fantastical?
Well, arachnophobia is more common than, say, a fear of ants.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but like, it just seems like something that, yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, but I imagine that was the decision.
So, how did you play? Did you play with blobs, or did you play with like fully adult, mean mother friggin' wolf spider looking things?
Oh, I like, if you test me for arachnophobia, I might have it, but I played it with the full spider thing on, so maybe I don't have it. But I'll give you an example. I have what's that horror game that came out for the PS4 exclusive early in its lifespan? It was called
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. I have the Until Dawn VR game. It's like Rush of Blood, and there's a level in which giant spiders will like fly at your face. Huge like, maybe it's because of the VR helping, but I will not play those levels again.
It's fun.
Like, it makes me feel like I have the spiders on me.
RE7, like in friggin' VR, is like terrifying, isn't it?
Oh yeah, RE7's terrifying in VR. Also, the game Farpoint. I actually recorded me playing this game with a friend when I was living in Toronto, and we were playing Farpoint, and that's when, like, at the very beginning of the game, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. You know, you can hold the controller like a gun. We're like losing our minds. This is awesome. And then I see this like creature go behind a rock, and I'm like, the video is on the YouTube channel, Red Leaf Retrocast. You can look it up. And I'm like, that's a fucking spider. And sure enough, it pops around the rock, leaps at my face, and you hear my reaction, like whip the VR headset off me, and I like freak out because I think it actually came at me. Your mind just plays tricks on you, man.
I've had a buddy of mine who was playing Skyrim in VR, and they fell asleep, and they woke up, and they were so confused as to what the hell was going on.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. We can bring this up right now. It's actually relevant since we're on the topic. Dreams.
Dreams getting VR?
Dude. VR mode came out for Dreams. It is the fucking best.
Huh.
It's totally... Okay, so there's a YouTuber called Little Big Animation, okay? He's a British dude. He's obsessed with dreams. He's obsessed with Media Molecule, and he just comes out, and he's just this guy that I'm like, okay, he'll find all the good levels, and then I'll replay the good levels. Like, I can't recommend it enough. I love Dreams. I've probably pumped more hours into Dreams in 2020 than I have in any other game.
There's a demo of it now.
Yes, definitely play it. Play the demo. But the VR mode came out, and it's absolutely outstanding. Those that don't know Dreams, go back and listen to our January to March episode that we did of 2020, where we reviewed Dreams, and the PSVR mode came out, and it's everything that we wanted. We just had to be a little bit more patient in 2020 until it came out. It's so worth it. Jay, I know when we initially rated Dreams tiered at a B, I have to move it up to an A.
I thought you were going to give
minimum.
I thought you were going to give it an S by the sounds of things, how you were going with it. But
I'm going to keep playing because it's a game based on people's content that they make, right? It does have its little story mode that's pretty good. That's great and all. But over the course of 2020, and now this VR mode's coming out, right now it's an A. By year's end, it could be an S. Yeah.
So,
but I'm definitely upgrading it from B to A with this VR mode that is now out.
No, that makes
and it's free.
The VR mode's free.
It's free to download.
Well, you would assume that it
just an update.
I suppose they may have charged for it if they really wanted to get some money for it. I'm sure people would have paid for it. But it's a good thing that they decided to put it out for free. Like, it adds friggin' to a company where they can charge money for things, but they just decided to put it out for free. Because you probably could have charged $20-$30. Is that for an add-on?
I mean, the game itself was like $30, and then they promised VR was going to be at launch, but it kept getting delayed, and eventually they just went, guys, we got to come out with this game. And it's August. The game came out in February, so here we are. So it was delayed quite a lot for the VR specificity to it all. So, anyways, Grounded's not on Metacritic at all. I'd probably give it, it's an early access grade, like a B, because there's just not much to do. I had my fill already, with the exception of building a super base. We tried building a base when we first started playing, but we just found it easier, and we just wanted to keep exploring. We were so into everything else that it had to offer that we just found a tunnel and just kind of barricaded the tunnel to be our base. That's what we did.
Look, I'm sure that once the game gets more content to it, and actually has the story and stuff flushed out, that I'm sure it may move up to an A.
Well, it is at an A. It may move up to an A. Oh, you mean Grounded?
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
You thought we were still talking about Dreams.
Yeah, I'm still. Look, man, drinking.
I get you, man. I get you. But have you ever fallen asleep in VR? Because, as I said before, my buddy fell asleep playing Skyrim, and he woke up and he was so confused.
I mean, I've watched Hulu and shit in VR where it feels like I have a 70-inch screen in front of my face.
How was that?
I mean, they put you in a virtual apartment, and then they put a 70-inch screen on the television, and then you're watching on that.
I don't know, for Hulu or something like that, that just seems a bit excessive. Just what's wrong with your TV?
I mean, I only have a 32-inch TV, so making it 80 times bigger with my investment VR.
I guess so.
Yeah, the problem is I have a thing on my head.
Well,
all right.
Yeah, moving on.
Look, Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, also on the Nintendo Switch. Big Nintendo Switch heavy podcast, it seems today. By Rising Star Games. Also came out July 10th, 2020. Did you ever play the first one?
I did not.
Oh my god, it's a cult classic game. Have you heard of it?
I have.
All right. No desire to play this one, did you?
No.
Yeah, you made the right decision.
Well, I'm glad.
Actually, Metacritic says it's by Toybox Games, even though it says Rising Star Games on the side. Interesting. Okay, maybe it's published by Rising Star. I don't care enough to look that up exactly. It has a 56 on Metacritic, 5.2 user score. This game was trying to emulate the goofy shittiness of the first game. I'm not a fan of the first game. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was boring. This one tried to emulate that, but make it more comical and the comedy just doesn't hit at all, along with just horrid frame rate issues in the game. Like they made this terrible overworld to it all where you have to go mission to mission, and the frame rate is like, I'd be generous in probably saying 10 frames per second. It's atrocious. There's like the screen tearing all the time as well. Like, I couldn't play this game more than 30 minutes. I really couldn't. I just didn't find anything interesting. The game itself is broken, and people are saying that's the point. It's like, no, you don't, like, the first one was bad and stupid, but it wasn't a badly made game where I felt like it was unplayable. I feel like Deadly Premonition 2 was just unplayable. And I'm not alone on this. There's a lot of people that are big fans of the first one that feel the same way about the sequel here.
Well,
yeah.
I made a bad game's a bad game.
Bad game's a bad game. Yeah. For those that are curious about the summary, if you want to try it out for yourself, in the year 2005, FBI agent York visits La Carie, a small town in New Orleans, where he encounters a mysterious serial murder case alongside his friend Zach. Friend is in quotes. Ooh. Produced by original creator team, the story takes place in a small town in New Orleans, which was created based on research and interviews. So yeah. There you go.
It sounds like a game.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play it long enough to really say anything other than it's probably the worst game we've played this year.
Well,
so it gets an immediate F, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
Yep. So DP2 gets that F.
Yep. If that
won't even
you won't even try to defend it.
Won't even tease you on what I might give Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Yeah. I'll reveal that at the end.
It's gonna get an S.
Paper Mario Origami King.
Alrighty. Good sir. I have never played a Paper Mario game. I still haven't played a Paper Mario game. I was going to play the demo of this Paper Mario game, but I couldn't find the demo of this Paper Mario game.
Oh,
I know.
So, Paper Mario, for its first couple iterations, I mean, you could really go back to Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo. Great reviews. Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64 got good reviews. I never played Super Paper Mario. I believe that was on the Wii. 1,000 Year Door is probably the best one. That's what a lot of people regard it as. I believe it got, like, Game of the Year nominations, too, as well. So, those were all RPGs. All right?
Right.
After 1,000 Year Door, they kind of went a different route and focused on more of the adventure rather than an RPG system in their battle system. So then came out like the Mario and Luigi series.
I like Partners in Time and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I have Mario and Luigi Dream Team or whatever on the 3DS. It was okay. It served a purpose. Sticker Star came out on the 3DS. That got mediocre reviews. Color Splash got like bad reviews. Nobody liked that. And now we have Origami King. And the more I looked up the game and paid attention to it, the more I was finally intrigued with it. I felt like I could finally get into one, especially after seeing the battle system. And the battle system, there aren't your typical RPG elements in Origami King here.
Oh?
The battle system is more like a puzzle battle system. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a turntable, and you have to manipulate the turntable in order to line up enemies, and if you get them perfectly aligned to match up with your weapon skew, then you could attack them with, say, 1.5 or double damage, and so it encourages you to get the puzzle right. And then there's a lot of aspects in the game that could help you out in case... Like, it's definitely a game more geared towards kids in a lot of ways. So I find it a little bit too easy, but I just also found myself enjoying the adventure much more, and the battle system's fun. And there are times where it's challenging, where they like the boo enemies, where they disappear and you have to remember their placement and then manipulate the turntable to line everyone up while these enemies disappear. So there are challenges to it. As for the adventure, it really brings me back to why the 1,000-Year Door was so popular. Was you had your different stages of your adventure, and upon getting one step closer, there's like 6 main areas, and each area has its own uniqueness to it to accomplish towards the overall goal. And the Origami King does this. So basically, the story is Mario and Luigi head to Toad Town and to celebrate Origami Festival. And like all the toads are missing. You go to Peach's castle. She comes out looking like Origami, and turns out this guy, the Origami King, mind you, he has turned everything into origami, and then he unleashes like super magic or whatever, and turns the world into origami. And there's ribbons all across the Paper Mario world, kind of constricting the world. And so you go from one ribbon to another to unravel it. And then finally, Luigi, in the meantime, is looking for the key to get into Princess Peach's castle. So each ribbon that you're unraveling comes with its own unique world to it. So like ribbon 1 is kind of your like green grasslands area. Ribbon 2 is like Ghost of Tsushima, but in Paper Mario, everything's very samurai-esque. Lots of fall autumn colors. Ribbon 3 is the desert. So there's a big like Egyptian theme to it, with its own puzzles and own unique story. I'm almost done with the 5th ribbon. Yes, which is kind of the undersea area.
Oh god, water levels.
Well, it's not a water level. Like you go undersea and then there's this world just under the sea, but it's. You unlock you have to find a key to unlock, like, let's call it Atlantis.
Okay, so it's not like your water levels then.
No. Not in that traditional sense.
Right, that's good.
Yeah. So the battle system is very unique. I like that. The enemies are, your typical Mario enemies. You got your Shy Guys in there, your turtle guys, whatever they're called. Koopas. Jesus.
Come on. Yeah.
Look, I've been drinking. I've been over this.
I know, I didn't say anything.
So, the boss battles are really cool. I really like the boss battles. So they're on the turntable, and you have to manipulate a path in order to attack the boss and kind of figure out a puzzle in which how to attack the boss. And there's like hints you can use if you so please. They cost coins. You gain coins through battles or using confetti to plug holes in the world caused by the Origami King. You get gadgets and whatnot. These are all things you would have normally gotten through like upgrading in an RPG character, right? Oh, I want more health. I want this. Well, you find these things in the world, and as you find them and go to the worlds, your character is leveling up with your adventure.
Right.
So it's not your traditional RPG, but those elements are still there. And I've seen kind of criticism going, well, then what's the point of the battles? I go, well, the point of the battles is to get the coins so you can buy your special items to make your bigger battles easier. So your boss battle, mind you, and it's not always a traditional, or at least in this game's case, the turnstile battle system. There's been a couple bosses where it's all kind of in the real time. You're running around the map and you're trying to use the hammer just normally. So it's not always constricted to that puzzle battle system that it has. So they change it up a lot in the game, which I really like. Everything always comes off as fresh. Nothing's coming off as overdoing it. And you can avoid enemies at will if you want, right? But the way the game's set up, in which you keep progressing through the adventure, it kind of puts you in the important battles, right? Okay, you're going to have to tackle this enemy now. This time you're going to have to do this. Oh, I unlocked this door. Oh, look, an enemy popped up out of nowhere. Now you're in a battle. So your quote-unquote random world battles, you can run around them easy enough, but sometimes you kind of are forced to fight them and dispatch them to make your adventure easier. I really like this, Jay. It's such a simple game, and I keep finding myself just picking it up in bed, playing for half an hour, 45 minutes before night. It's really cutting into my Final Fantasy VI time, I will say.
You've been on Final Fantasy VI now for what, 6 months, 7 months?
Since I want to say February.
Yeah, so like 6 months.
When was that Final Fantasy episode we did? Let me look this up.
How long till you get into the spin-off games like Final Fantasy X-2 and Tactics and all that?
I still need to go back and beat 10, but I want to play Dragon Quest V and Bravely Default first again.
Yeah. Okay, this is going to sound like a really dumb question, and it potentially will, but is Bravely Second a sequel to Enleia, or is it a sequel to Bravely Default?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Okay. Just figured I'd ask. See if you know. Turns out you don't.
Yeah, so we did the Final Fantasy episode September 29th, 2019. So I think I started it in February. I think I picked the game back up in February. Yeah. It's just something that when I have free time and not like stuck playing other things that I want to play, Final Fantasy VI is, I have it on my Vita, so it's just pick it up and there I go again. So, and I've made notes so I don't forget like where I've been and what I've done in the story to date.
That would be useful.
It's very useful, let me tell you.
Oh boy.
So, the Paper Mario, it has an 80 on Metacritic. It's got 6.8 user score. That's all the people upset that it's not an RPG. But in reality, it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just haters that haven't played the game. It's a fun adventure. There's a lot of good jokes in it. I like the humor. I would say it's better written than Last of Us 2.
Well, have you played The Last of Us 2?
Yeah, I played The Last of Us 2.
It's almost like
we talked about it a long time.
I know. But if a Nintendo game aimed at children has a better story than The Last of Us 2, that's saying something.
Yeah. So, I give Paper Mario high marks. I really do. I think this is a case where the 80 score, I think, is just being overly critical. Because I think after when did Thousand Year Door come out? It can't come out. Thousand Year Door.
When was that?
Mario.
2004.
2004? It was 2004. You think it's been long enough where the Paper Mario series just isn't an RPG at this point? It's an adventure game.
What, 16 years ago?
Elements. Yeah. Fuck. People gotta calm down.
Yeah, just a bit. Like, games change.
Yeah. So, Sucker Punch made a game, Jay.
Never heard of them.
Oh, no? Never heard of the Sly Cooper people? The Infamous people?
What's an Infamous?
What's an Infamous? Have you ever played Infamous?
Yeah, I played all of them.
Okay, good.
Actually, wait.
You played Second Son?
Yeah, finished Second Son. I think the only one I haven't finished is the weird, like, Halloween Bloody Mary one they did.
Oh, yeah. What was that called again?
Festival of Blood.
Was it called that?
I'm pretty sure it was.
No, I was thinking of the something whatever light.
First Light, Last Light, or whatever it was.
First Light.
The one for the spin-off Neon chick from Second Son. It's a game.
Was that any good?
introduces you to her story. Like, it fills in the blanks and crap that they left out intentionally from Infamous 2. Sorry, Infamous 2nd. So, like, you know how look, it's maybe 6 hours. It's done with the same engine. It's just a smaller map. It's like not a full price game, which is fine. It's all right.
Oh, that's fine. 6 hours. That's decent. Man, I'm playing all these retro games. Like, Streets of Rage 4 is like 3 hours. I paid enough money for it, so...
Yeah. No, look, I've got no problem with First Light or Second Son. I mean, like, neither of them are as good as the Cole story from, like, Infamous 1, Infamous 2, but, you know, you don't really expect that coming into these, like, newer sort of games. I got no idea whether they're going to make another Infamous, but if they do, I'm all for it. I don't hate them. The key feature though that like you're really getting First Life for or whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it's in that one. There's like a survival sort of battle royale thing, where it's just like kind of like a horde mode, if you will.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. You can play as the character from Second Son if you've got that, any data from that, or the Neon chick. You know what game I really want a third game of, but I'm probably never going to get it because they're too busy making bad games. That would be Prototype 3.
Ah. I actually got the first one at a GameStop, like at a 3 for buy 3 get 2 free deal or whatever.
You played it yet?
No, I haven't though.
It's a lot of people compare like Prototype and Infamous together because they came out around the same time.
I think you were the one that was speaking highly of it. I'm like, you know what? I get a free game. Why not?
Yeah, no, I really like Prototype 1 and Prototype 2. It's just sucks that the second game didn't sell well enough for a third game.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, no, it's very comic booky, like
right.
in the same kind of vein as Infamous. But like, look, when you check it out, because like it'd be an interesting concept to do an episode if I've got some time to fill in about Infamous versus Prototype.
Ooh, that could be a series. That could be something.
Yeah, look, I'm happy to go back and play Infamous 1 and Prototype 1. I've got a full playthrough of both prototypes on my YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh. What is your YouTube channel, Jay?
The Viva Legati.
There you go.
Currently playing...
Follow him on Twitter, same as YouTube, there you go.
Pretty much. Currently playing through Final Fantasy 15.
I really like Final Fantasy 15. It's just really campy.
It's hold circle to win in combat.
I mean, more or less. You don't have to play that way.
It's how the game feels like it wants me to play, though. I came into this because it looked like it was the closest combat that was similar to the remake of 7, and it kind of is to an extent, but...
Oh, yeah, 7 refined the piss out of that. It was great.
I feel like something's missing from this game, but maybe like further I get into it, the more the story's going to unfold. I don't know. I have a big...
I like Final Fantasy 15.
Look, I have a big monster truck-looking car thing, and it is white, and it has like massive-ass exhaust coming out, kind of like something from Mad Max. It's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's get to this. Ghost of Sushi.
Is that what your mum's going to call it?
I don't know. Maybe. That's what I'm calling it. It's fun.
What?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, boy. All right, so I'm guessing we're starting at the start.
I mean, how do you want to tackle this game? I mean, we don't have... Look, we don't have the crazy amount of criticism that we can go in depth on Last of Us Part 2 because that was very controversial. There was a lot of things worth discussing in that game. With what I'm seeing with Ghost of Tsushima, what the game's how the game presented itself, what it marketed itself as,
it's exactly
like
what
this is a yeah.
I didn't get ripped off.
It's a slam dunk.
It sure is.
It is a slam dunk of a game.
Look, the little interesting can't talk. The little things that this game did that like hasn't been done before or hasn't been done in a good while. Like for example, the no minimap thing with the guiding wind. It's a nice change of fresh air. It's a nice little change of pace.
Oh my god! Not having to like constantly pull up a map. Fucking fantastic. So the way I'm curious to how you would describe this game between two games. Like it is X game and Y game, and that's how we got Tsushima. What are your two? Because I have my two in my head. I've been sporting around.
Combat is a mix of. I'm gonna say it reminds me a bunch of Fallen Order. and it plays kind of like a good Assassin's Creed game.
Okay, so I have the Assassin's Creed comparison, yes.
Is it for Odyssey, specifically?
I mean, the whole last-gen Origins Odyssey, yeah.
Dude, you got to admit...
all of the Assassin's Creed kind of play this way.
True. You've got to admit, though, like, Assassin's Creed Umber Viking looks like a fun game.
But I would say how the world is built, how the story unfolds, and how you go about unlocking more of the world is like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, that's a better comparison than the combat being like friggin' Fallen Order. I didn't even think of that. It's been so long since I played Horizon.
Yeah, I mean, I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I've played that game 3 times.
That's Frozen Wilds, because I haven't played that yet.
Oh, it's amazing. You got to get it.
I might.
Got to get it. It's a very good additive to the entire game. Open it, like, you know what? That would go off on a whole tangent on Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Let's. So you are Jin, Lord Sakai. Okay.
Lord Sakai.
A samurai. Yes, Lord Sakai. You are on the island of Tsushima, and you are fighting off the Mongolian invaders. And I love the way this game fucking starts. Okay.
What, with when
the Mongolians
the beach,
come,
the invasion?
Yes. The invasion beach scene. You got all the samurai of Tsushima gathered together under Lord Shimoda, and he's like, "All right, let's do this. This is like fucking Greek warfare kind of deal. It's like, send out your best fighter. I will send out mine." So Tsushima sends out their best fighter, walks up to the Mongolian camp, and like, "I will challenge you, the whole honorable, if I win, you leave situation." The Mongolian looks at him, throws fucking like wine on his armor, and then just lights him on fire. He's like, "Fuck off." It's fucking rabid.
Get out.
It's awesome.
It's like, you Mongolians have no honor. Get out of my city, wow.
Goddamn Mongolians. Oh my god, it's just a bloodbath. Jin Sakai survives the bloodbath on the beach, approaches the castle solo because he still has that whole samurai honor to him. And the Mongolian leader, whom by the way has his own fantastic story where he learned Japanese, he learned the culture and the people, basically the best way to invade the land, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He just walks up to Jin Sakai, kicks the shit out of him, throws him over the bridge. Jin somehow survives, and he's nursed back to health by this woman named Yuna. And she is not fond of samurai.
No, she is not.
She has her... And this is the best... This is one of the best parts of Ghost of Tsushima, Jay. And I know I'm kind of spearheading this review here.
That's fine.
And what I think, but the characters in the story. You have Yuna... You have the archer, you have the forge maker, who happens to be Yuna's brother. You have the monk, whom I just started doing his act with. I've only broken into Act 2 here because I keep playing everything in the game.
Yeah. Have you min-maxed your character at this point? Like, are you at that point where
I haven't learned all the styles yet, but I have like almost all the techniques.
Yeah. Because like that's the thing, like everything in that game just feels good to do. Like nothing feels like it's a task. Like it doesn't feel repetitive, which is such a breath of fresh air in like that whole regard of open world games, because like you do the same thing like 100 times. And it's like, how many times can I climb this watchtower and make this watchtower feel different to climb?
Right. So we mentioned it plays like Assassin's Creed. And while we say that, this does it better. So it took that very working formula that Assassin's Creed uses. And what Tsushima does to separate it is, instead of just making you trek across like the entire world map, and then you have to go point A to point B across the map, I'm wondering if you played the same way, Jay, where you start out kind of in the north on Island 1 of Tsushima, okay? And as you progress through the island, you're unlocking more parts of the story, along with more characters, and because you're doing that, And also all the side missions make you progress a little bit further south each time, right?
Yeah.
That's what I found myself doing. So by the time I got to the southern part of the island, I realized I had done everything on this island. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for Act 2. I've done like everything. You know, there's some things here and there that I missed, but like all of the fox dens, all of the bamboo strikes, like I did all these things just from normally progressing through the stories and the side character stories.
Yeah. Because, like, have you just, like, okay, this is going to sound really stupid for people who haven't played the game, they're not going to understand. But if you, like, just not put a waypoint down and just followed the wind for, like, an hour?
I haven't done that. I always kind of picked a place I wanted to go, and then... I mean, no, you know what? I'll tell you something I did do. I saw an interesting tree out into the distance on the top of a mountain. And I just thought to myself,
I'm going to go to
I want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to that fucking tree. And that's what I did. I went to that fucking tree, and there was a shrine at the top of the tree. And as it turns out, it was also a, like, fabled story to get a lightning strike.
Oh, I never really used that after.
Oh, it's so useful.
It's not, but
so
moving
useful.
on.
No, I find it very useful.
Okay.
Yeah, I find it very useful. I find a lot of those strikes very useful that you learn, and the armors you can get. So there's a is he a monk? Let's call him a monk.
The dude with the spear thing?
No. The guy who tells the stories.
I'm just gonna call him a storyteller.
Bard. Let's call him a bard. Yeah. So there's a bard in the game that tells these samurai fables. Like this samurai, he was located in the south of Tsushima, but he donned a special bow and armor, and the armor was impenetrable to even the best of bows. And then he had his longbow, and it just goes on and on. You must find the purple flowers in the distance of the south. Follow the purple flowers along the island of Tsushima, along the beaches, and you will come to a cave. And there you will find the bow, and as it turns out, like, it's been moved, and there's people protecting it. Then there's the Mongolians also want this because they've heard the tales.
And now I'm on fire.
It's really cool. Yeah, now you got to light everyone on fire, and it's awesome. Yeah. And you know what? We spoke about environmental immersion.
Oh,
in Last of Us Part 2.
Did we?
We went into a lot of detail on how well that game did it.
Tsushima does it
I
better.
would say Ghost of Tsushima. I would say it does it differently, but it has the same purpose to it.
I would say it does it better. I feel like I'm in Japan. I feel like I'm...
It's very colorful.
It is. Well, unless you're playing in your cinematic black and white mode.
My Kurosawa mode?
Yeah, that. Which I didn't try out the entire time. Like, I was going to, and I just never got to it.
I think you missed out.
Yeah.
I think you missed out on a really, really cool aspect of the game.
You playing in Japanese?
I've kind of switched between multiple languages while playing it.
Because I know that, like, somebody we both know is playing through the entire game in Japanese to make it, like, feel more authentic.
I mean, it's totally cool. And Sucker Punch did an amazing job making this. They made a game that felt like you were playing a samurai movie from, like, the 50s and 60s.
They did. Like, and
it's fucking awesome.
Like, have you picked up on, like, I'm sure you've had this come up, like, one or two times, but, like, if you're not fighting honorably, like, what's his name? The uncle whose name I've forgotten right now. Shimoda. He, like, pops up and, like, kind of, like, you get flashbacks back to your training. It's like, this is not how we fight.
Oh, yes.
He said that to me.
You think I'm playing honorably?
He said that to me a bunch of times. And, like, the thing is, too, because, like, standoffs and stuff, like, at the start of the game, like, they're so easy. Like, you feel like this badass samurai, but, like, by the time you get halfway through the second area, you're like, maybe there's a reason this game's called Ghost of Tsushima and not Samurai of Tsushima. Maybe yes. I'm playing this incorrectly.
So let's tackle this one thing at a time. The environmental immersion. As you're progressing through the island, it has different colors and seasons and feels to it.
It does.
Right? and it's the most photogenic game I've ever played.
Oh yeah, dude, the friggin' the photography mode in this game, like you can pause like mid combat, like just pause whenever and get some amazing shots, which you probably saw on my Twitter.
Oh my god, if you look at my Twitter, I love like making important battles. I put it in the Kurosawa mode. You saw the one where you fight Ryozo, a guy who betrays Jin Sakai.
The Straw Hat
right?
Ronin.
The Straw Hat Ronin, he must feed his men. The Mongolians promised food and wealth and power.
The former best friend of Jin Sakai.
There's there's the floating lanterns in the little lake next to a bridge, and you're having an epic samurai battle. I was like, as soon as that fucker started, I'm like, oh my god, there's the bridge in the background. I'm all in black and white. The lanterns have emit this sick, awesome white, gray, black to it all. I'm like screenshot and I'm in the middle of battle, and it's like screensaver worthy. This whole game is you can just find yourself in a moment, and it could go on your background, like no problem.
For sure. Like if you want to make a dynamic theme out of this, it's entirely possible.
And the really cool thing about the immersion factor is, and this kind of ties into the Kurosawa mode, the black and white mode, that you can turn on and off at a whim. Like, in and out of battle. The only time you can't, like, switch between it is during a cutscene. Okay?
Is the cutscenes in Kurosawa mode if you've got it on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Really cool. So, in Kurosawa mode, the audio changes as well.
What?
To make it seem like you're in the 50s and 60s with that kind of static to it all, and maybe a little echo.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm playing this fucker with headphones on, and I can hear, like, distortion in the sound, and those are arrows coming at me. It's not... Because if you play regularly, you hear the arrow, like, crisping through the wind and everything. But with the Kurosawa mode on, the arrow's kind of static through your ears. And you're like, what is that? It's just like it's hard. I hope I explained it well enough, but maybe it's harder to explain than I let on. It's really cool, the clanging of the swords. I will say this: until you have like a fully upgraded dodge system and parry system, because there's certain dodge and parry techniques where the light has to be red or blue, and if you don't have like the red dodge technique or parry, but you only have the blue, you won't be able to tell the difference in Kurosawa mode, which makes sense because you can't see red and black and blue, or red and blue in black and white mode.
I will say very quickly here, even if you do fully upgrade those dodge mechanics and all that crap, there are still certain things you won't be able to block, which makes sense.
Right, you'll still have to dodge.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn it.
Although, playing that with Kurosawa mode on like during some of those duels would be a pain in the ass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's attacks that, unless you'll be there forever, right, you kind of need to. I found the parry system in this game way easier than Sekiro, another samurai game that came out last year.
I had trouble with the parry system, but that's fair enough.
I mean, I didn't hit it all the time, but it was way easier to time, and I thought it was way more efficient than what Sekiro offered. I thought Sekiro was just hard for the sake of being hard as fuck.
Get good, JD.
Ugh, shut up. I got good at Tsushima, and now I can parry in this game. What was Sekiro's fucking fault?
Get good, JD.
Yeah, get too good.
Yeah.
It's too high. So, where were we? Let's see. Talked about the immersion, talked about Kurosawa mode, talked about the battle system. The Ghost and Samurai Warrior way you can play. So as you play the game, and this is what I was very curious about, Jay, when we were kind of previewing the game and my kind of worries and thoughts, is can you play both ways, Ghost and Warrior, or do you have to play one way or the other? Well, as it turns out,
you can play both ways.
You can play both ways.
It's just one's a hell of a lot easier.
In whatever style.
One turns out to be a hell of a lot easier than the other one.
But as your character is completing missions and everything, depending on the type of mission you do, so whether it's like story related or just a simple side mission, you will gain the experience points to gain a reputation in the game. That is your warrior reputation progresses, your ghost reputation. The game will tell you this. I don't know if you noticed this.
Like when you're leveling up, how it tells you like what your current role is, sort of thing? Like the
Yes.
Wandering Samurai, the whatever.
Right. That will change depending on what style you're favoring as you keep playing.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, because for a little while there, as I was kind of having my play session last night, I was doing a bunch of kind of side missions to get more skill points up because I want to get the moon stance now. And I was just going, like, my style I've been playing is I'll be a ghost using my smoke bombs and everything, fucking assassinating people in the big story areas, because I find that more fun and honestly a little bit easier than just having 30, 40 Mongolian guards come at me.
F you, Mongolian!
Right? Fuck you, Mongolians, man. I don't want that. I want to take out like half of them, distract them, and then take out the other half, and then I'll have like 3 left.
Which, makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah. But the side missions, there's significantly less Mongolians, kind of like protecting a bridge or whatever. I will just stand off, take on the 10, kill them all, and move along. Because I did a bunch of side missions, all of a sudden, my reputation increased to be more of a warrior in that moment. But as soon as I did another mission, I was back to being a ghost. Because I've been favoring ghost through the most important sections of the game.
Right.
Really cool. I'm really happy with that. That was one big thing of the game I was worried about going in.
Yeah, that makes...
So what do you think of the camera system?
Love it.
You do?
I do. Do you not love it?
I like it, but it's a little wonky.
I didn't experience anything like that.
I mean, there's a lot where your camera's behind a tree or behind a wall. If you get too close to something, you gotta really turn it with the character.
The only time I had to move the camera to try to help myself do something was when I'm climbing, because that is one issue I have with this game, and that is the climbing. Because say for example, you're climbing up the side of a cliff face, or you're trying to get to the top of a shrine. You know how sometimes you've got to jump to the left or the right and grab onto a tree branch.
Yeah.
I realized that unless I've got the camera focused on that tree branch, if I've got the camera positioned looking at the cliff face and I try to make that jump, I won't make it.
No. So the game has what I describe as a loose targeting system. This goes along with combat as well. Which means you have to point your camera at your target that you want. So whether that's jumping or fighting, that's what will happen.
Didn't have that I didn't have that problem with the combat, but yeah, for sure. Jumping, I'm all for.
Yeah. It's a loose targeting system. That's the best way to describe it.
Makes sense.
So, what I liked, so a lot of people criticize the camera system. So we haven't mentioned this. So Sucker Punch made the game. I think it has an 83 on Metacritic right now.
That's kind of low considering what 83. I thought it would have been.
Well, I've read through a lot of the reviews, and they all kind of touch on the same things, the same critical aspects. The game's not innovative in the sense of the open world.
It's not.
Okay, it's too much like what we described. We can easily describe it compared to 2 games easily, right? And I get where they're coming from, because in order for a game to kind of garner those 9 out of 10 reviews and higher, it kind of has to be a game that separates itself from everything else. And yeah, I understand Ghost of Tsushima doesn't do that. What it does though is it takes those things that have worked and it refines it in its own unique manner.
It does. It puts everything that's been established in other games and puts the best quality version of them into Ghost.
Yes. And what I really, really appreciate in this game, so the camera's wonky.
Agreed.
I will say that.
No. The only thing I had to, as I said, I agree with climbing. That's it.
So, however, I did mention earlier, Jay, that this game makes you feel like you're playing a samurai movie.
He did, which I completely understand.
A normal game would just have your character, you know, the camera's at the character's back the entire time, right? Go into battle, has a hard target system, and you're always at the character's back, and you're just fighting one-on-one back to, with the character's face facing the character.
Right.
Or the enemies.
Right.
Right. This one puts kind of a little sky view on it, and you're battling enemies from all sides, so that's what Assassin's Creed does, except it has a hard targeting system. What the loose one does is it allows you to manipulate the camera so it's floating around, and that's kind of what a cinematic movie would do in fight scenes. So whenever I was in these fight scenes, sure, it gets wonky at times, but I always felt like the battles mattered.
Right.
And it would always position, and if anything important would come up, it always positioned the camera to little specific little things, like when you do a standoff, it's kind of bottom to the right looking up. If you got like 7 guys around you, it's always kind of diagonal and to the left or right, depending on, you know, your preferred viewpoint of the battle. You manipulate the stage, if you will, to your liking, and it presents an interesting aspect rather than just over the shoulder.
Right.
That's how Ghost of Tsushima separates itself from other games. Really love it. Really, really love it.
For sure. Like, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Like, I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, just not a lot of games like that. Even Horizon Zero Dawn, a game I adore. I think it's one of the best games I've played this generation. Okay?
Right.
And that was mostly over the shoulder, behind the character the entire time. Right?
Right.
There you go. How does Ghost of Tsushima take that aspect and make it its own? Overhead camera, cinematic type viewpoint. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yes, it does get wonky at times. It's not perfected, but hey, they're the first ones to do it. It's like the first Assassin's Creed game. Sure, you might jump off some walls when you don't mean to, but it's the first of its kind. And so many games since then has copied that.
For sure. For sure. For sure.
All right, I gotta ask, what are your favorite parts of the story? Because a lot of critics out there also say the story is kind of too one note all the time. Maybe a little over depressive. All the characters are very downtrodden kind of thing, etc., etc. What did you think of the story? Did you have a favorite side character? Favorite moments?
I'm further than you. I don't want to give too much away.
I know. Hey. Without totally spoiling, just say, like, hey, there was this certain act with this side character. Or the final battle with the Mongolian, because obviously it's heading there.
Okay, you expect this to happen.
There's a sick betrayal that you really like.
Look, you expect this to happen, but I really freaking liked the moment in the game where... Have you rescued the uncle yet?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a point in the game where Sakai kind of gives the middle finger to Shimoda and finally embraces the ghost.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it was freaking awesome, because come that point, I don't want to give too much away, but you are kind of an outlaw and you're sort of...
Oh,
yeah.
I was kind of hoping the story would go in that direction.
Look, I don't want to give too much away.
Because it's well told that that's where we're heading, right?
Yeah. Look, I don't want to give too
Jin
much
Sakai
away.
is, I need to do what I need to do for the sake of the people on the island.
Your ways ain't working. I need to do this the way that I think is best for Tsushima.
Right, yeah. He's such a well-written character, too, because even the point where he has to learn the first ghost technique, right? Because Yuna goes, no, if we do this the samurai way, everyone inside will die.
We're gonna die.
We're gonna die. Like, don't do that. Take it, like, do it quietly. And so the game sets it up for the character to betray who he is. This is good storytelling and gaming, and you're in the action. This is something Last of Us 2 didn't do.
For sure.
Right?
There's also
So
oh, sorry, I was going to say also one of the side characters who pissed me off, but I liked her story was the lady with the clan, who everyone was murdered.
yes, Lady Adachi.
And also
yes.
the story of Tomoe is freaking awesome.
I'm really into the story of Tomoe. So she's, for those that don't remember or are in the middle of it, she is the prodigy archer of this archer.
She's the prodigy archer of the archer.
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean that's what she is. But, so the main archer coach, Jesus, cat. Oh, I have more insect emergencies apparently.
Do you want to deal with that?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Kitty's got this.
Go, Kitty.
Yeah, there's a mud wasp nest outside my air conditioning unit, and they kind of keep trickling into the apartment.
Why don't you take on the mud wasp nest and, deal with it?
Because I live on the 3rd floor, and I don't have a 40-foot ladder.
That sounds like excuses to me, but that's fine.
Yeah, they congregate. It's fine. They're mud wasps. I'm not too worried about them.
Are you sure they're not like murder hornets?
No, I'm sure.
Okay.
I know. Well, I mean they're fucking wasps and hornets. Either way, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, my favorite story is definitely the Tomoe story because I'm very intrigued. Like where this guy went wrong. What did he do? Why it also impedes into the samurai code. Like, yes, most of the game is very kind of in the dark light of things.
Yeah.
But it's told so well, I don't mind that.
For sure.
Like, your big high moments are, I have accomplished my goal. Now on to the next one. I have maybe I lived by the code of honor. Maybe I didn't.
I guess time will tell.
Yeah. What'd you think of the naked spa bathing to get your health up? The hot springs.
When I was in Japan, I didn't get the opportunity to go to a bathhouse or a hot springs because I'm covered in tattoos.
You didn't go to a hot springs and contemplate on the battle on the beach where everyone died?
No. But
in the nude.
But like I said, if I when I was in Japan, it was one thing I wanted to do. But like I said, I'm covered in tattoos and didn't get that opportunity because I would have loved to have gone to a bathhouse or a hot springs and just contemplated. I don't know how exactly that helps increase your health, but it's certainly something.
You reach that piece of nirvana, Jay.
Is that what it is? So are you telling me that he achieves nirvana and becomes a Buddha?
I mean, he achieves a level of nirvana, which increases his health and stamina.
I guess.
What, you don't believe that's how things work?
I mean, how long do I have to soak in a hot springs to achieve that?
I think that depends on the person, Jay. I think it varies.
How long do you think you need to soak in a hot springs to achieve that?
Probably 30 seconds. To be honest with you, I don't think it'll take that long.
Dude, there's the third part of the map is like a snow-riddled, like pretty much desolate place, and like there's hot springs. There's hot springs there, and it's like don't know exactly why we're getting in here because you're gonna freeze your ass off when you get out, but I guess we're going in this hot spring.
Well, I guess living in Australia, you've never gotten in a hot tub in the middle of winter, have you?
No, I haven't, because I'm allergic to snow, and snow can just piss right off. I did a stint of security work in the ski resorts last year, and I absolutely hated it.
Oh, man. Never mind then. I got some crazy stories I've done myself.
All right, well, we'll talk about this off air.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, I've done the snowboarding into the frozen lake before. I've done the heated heated isolated area in Portage Lake in Upper Michigan. Just hot tubs in the winter. It's not as bad as you think, Jay. It's actually quite relaxing because you're just think about it this way. Your body and your I assume intact genitals are in the nice warm water, possibly with the medicinal herbs in there, so everything smells wonderful. And then you're not going to really overheat because your top half of the body and your head is nice and cool because it's cold outside.
Your intact genitals.
Well, I mean, come on. How else would you describe it? Would you not describe the intact genitals?
I'll just describe them as
scenario?
like, why not just genitals? Why is this?
Look, I don't know your genitalia situation, Jay.
Why do they have to be intact? Like, why is it a key point of this conversation that my head?
Are you telling me your genitals are not intact?
I mean, they are, but
There's some crazy story that you want to tell me?
Maybe off air, but We'll get to that off air. I may or may not have a scar on my nutsack, but we'll get to that off air. Friggin'. But I don't understand, like, the whole thing.
Is that going to be on the Patreon that's not going to come?
Do you have a Patreon? I can tell the story.
No, I think we should open one up just for that story.
But I don't understand, like, why you specifically had to say intact genitals.
Look, man, it's the same reason. Look, I don't take after my mom for no reason. If you hear her talking about the vegetable department.
Oh, God. Dude, listening
like
to your mom, like, I do not understand. Like, okay, look, are you embarrassed by some of the things she says on the show, or do you just find it entertaining? Because, like, I've got to say,
it's entertaining.
If my mum was talking about some of the stuff that your mum spoke about on that show, I'd be like, yeah. Don't really like where this is going, but okay.
What? I mean, come on.
Your mum's a thirsty girl.
Go listen to the Retrocast.
Your mum's a thirsty girl.
Yeah, well, she's been lonely for quite some time.
Oh, how good.
I think we've all been there.
So moving away
who am I not to empathize? Is that the right word?
Sure, why not?
Whatever.
So moving away from hot tubs with intact genitals into fox dens where I get to follow a Megitsune. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Or a kitsune, whatever it is. What did you think of that whole thing where, like, you follow the fox, you get the little awesome shiny thing experience. You get to pat the fox, which is adorable. Did you like that progression system for, like, upgrading your charms and stuff?
I liked all the progression systems. I really liked the additive where you can use a skill point. This was one of the first things I did in the game, and boy, did it pay off dividends. Was unlocking the skill point to automatically channel the guiding wind to find the fox dens, the bamboo shoots that you can cut, all those upgrades. I did that, like, right away.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, you just, like, follow the wind for an hour and see where you end up.
Well, yeah, I mean, found all the upgrades and everything. I've had a harder time finding the bamboo shoots to cut.
Yeah.
But I found, I think, like, every fox den. I have all the charms already. I found all the hot springs. It's really neat. I love that little progression system because the environmental immersion is a big factor of the game. It just added to it. It added to its most powerful element. That's what this game really does. It has a grappling hook, so obviously it's immediately A tier.
I mean, that's just how them the rules. Like, as bad as Halo Infinite looks, like, unfortunately, A tier game.
Did you watch that Xbox conference?
No.
Oh my god. What a disaster.
Should I have watched that Xbox conference? There was nothing really announced on it that kind of interests me.
That's the problem. Like, the big announcement was Halo Infinite, and I spoke about this on the Retro Gaming podcast, because we usually, it's been around longer than the Modern and just whatever, timely. Halo Infinite just did not impress. It really didn't.
Yeah, look, I can...
Like, when this is Microsoft's huge title that they're putting out for next gen, and they made it come across like it's Halo 3.
I mean, Halo 3 was one of the last good Halo games.
Well, I kind of meant, like, graphically.
I know what you mean. I'm just being a smartass. Because, like, the last true good Halo game, in my opinion, was Reach.
Like, they didn't do anything story-wise, because a lot of gamers are into stories in their games. They just showed off kind of this generic gameplay to it all, and it's like, oh, there's a grappling hook. Cool.
It's funny that you say that, because, like, games for a while here were moving, like, just the multiplayer only. Like, look at the Call of Duty games for a while. Like, Call of Duty hasn't always been exactly what you'll call story-driven, but there was a couple of them there that just came out with multiplayer, and that's all it was. Like, there was no story at all. I
mean, that's a big fan base, sure. but where's the... I just... The gamer I am, and the data just shows that it's not long-term successful, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know.
I play games for stories.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. I found the right wordage.
Go
ahead. We talk about, like, appreciating the art form of gaming. Kind of like the same thing with wrestling, with anime and everything.
Right.
Like, anime seasons, you always see, like, an isekai, right? Wrestling, you always have that, like, regular 3-star mid-card match. They don't do anything. They just go out there and do their thing, right? That's what these multiplayer games are. They're a 3-star wrestling match. They're not going to blow you away. They're not meant to. They're just supposed to make money, which is fine for the publisher, but for the art form and what it does for the longevity of gaming, like, what mark does it actually leave on the industry long term? I don't see the point. Like, if the point's only to make money, don't get me wrong, I understand that, right? But what have we... The problem I have is... You know what? We can roll this around with WWE, right? The problem is that it becomes such a trademark. Come on, Kat. I mean, I'm having a serious conversation here. It becomes such a focal point that that's all they see matters, is that money mark, right?
What was the last true... This is going to be probably an argument here, but what was the last, like, truly enthralling story that you've had actually watching WWE? I know you haven't watched it in a while, but I just want to, like, get an idea.
No, I keep up with it. The thing, come on, Jay, you know me.
Like,
I keep up
I haven't
with
watched it
everything.
Like, in ages either, but, like, I'm sitting here and I'm genuinely trying to think of, like, the last true thing I was 100% all in on vested in with WWE. I cannot think of it. Like, The Fiend was a great idea, but, like, it was just fell so freaking flat.
Well, I mean, I was the one saying this from the start. I was like, great character, but it's WWE. Good God, Cat.
Also, his matches weren't anything spectacular, but, like, great character.
No, his matches were shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, great character, though. Like, Bray...
But what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the end result is always the same.
Exactly.
Right? And the end result of these multiplayer-focused games is it makes money for the company. They don't care about you. So what we've seen is microtransactions and loot boxes and everything come to this. Yes, there's been fallback to it in the industries being forced to change, right?
Yeah.
But it's still going to try to do everything it can to fight back, right?
Okay, so what about, like, a company like Rockstar here? Because, like, they're making a mint off GTA Online, Red Dead Redemption Online, but they still do put out hella good story single-player, like, driven games.
Okay, so we can tackle that.
Are you fine with them doing that while they're waiting on the next installment of, like, the next series?
That's a very good question. Because on the one hand, I totally understand why they're doing what they're doing. Just like I understand why Call of Duty is focusing on the multiplayer aspect. That's what makes them the most money, right? At the end of the day, it's a business.
Right.
Okay? I'm not the business. I am the gamer. I am the consumer. And as the consumer, when I look at a multiplayer game, when I look at Rockstar, my consumer base is I want the good game and the story.
So,
okay?
Are you not
Go ahead. Do I think that Rockstar is using these resources incorrectly? I would lean towards more no, because they're pumping out games that are critically regarded by the masses, really good. Like, I have my qualms with, say, Red Dead Redemption 2, which we discussed on this podcast, we reviewed.
I loved it. You weren't a huge fan.
I still loved it.
Yeah.
I still loved it. Like, I wasn't in love with it.
I was. It's so good.
Use a turn of phrase. But it was a really good game. It was extremely well made. They nailed everything that they needed to, but, you know, like, over animation and everything. Last of Us 2 suffered for that stuff. Like, there is a thing as over making a game. That is a real problem, right? In Rockstar's case, are they misusing their funds? I would have to say no. right? And they're appealing to both fan bases fairly, I feel. Now, ethically, putting casinos in games and whatnot, that's no bueno, right? That's an entirely different topic, which we've discussed in the past. This cat is crazy right now. He's all over the place.
Would you like to deal with Sid? I've given you like 3 opportunities.
No. It's more fun this way. He looks like he's gonna maybe settle down for a second.
Look, we've got a lot of things here we could touch on, and like, if we don't end up doing an episode next month, maybe we can come up with a topic and discuss that, because like we've mentioned a couple of things already like during this podcast, so we could probably get a good in-depth conversation out of.
Sure, and it's all stemmed from Ghost of Tsushima, and that's why this game is such a hit. You know what? I'm curious. This popped in my head. All right. Sales, Last of Us 2, because this is something I've been keeping up with.
That hasn't sold very well for the amount of effort they put into that game.
Very true. So, it sold 4 million copies so far.
That seems low.
It is low based on their expectations, because they were expecting 10 plus million.
What, within the first month?
Yeah, probably just about, yeah.
That's kind of crazy, but okay.
Ghost of Tsushima has sold... it looks like it sold 3 million copies.
That's really good for a new IP.
It is so it sold 2.4 million copies in 3 days, making it the fastest selling new IP from Sony this generation, which, is very specific, but still, it doesn't take away from this big success.
What else are they giving us?
They've given us hugely successful.
They've given us Horizon Zero Dawn. They've given us, I guess, Until Dawn. They've given us
Bloodborne.
Yeah,
that's another one.
That's right. That's not a J game. I'm trying to think here of other like exclusives they've given us, like Gran Turismo. I think that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not a new IP though.
Sorry, no, my bad. But I'm trying to think.
Yeah, there's like 30, 40. There's like 30, 40. The gaming industry is built on sequels, just like kind of the movie industry and TV industry in a lot of ways.
True, but like sequels, you can only do so much in a sequel. Like, if you want a fresh experience, you need to come up with new IPs.
Well, that's how a company stays in order, right? That's how they stay afloat.
Yeah, I know. Like
that's why you saw Guerrilla, and Sucker Punch. They've done
Infamous,
Killzone, Sly Cooper, and now. No, Guerrilla did Killzone, and then they did Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, you mentioned Guerrilla as well, which is why I was saying that, but yeah.
Yeah. Sucker Punch, Sly Cooper,
Infamous,
Ghost of Tsushima.
Right.
Naughty Dog, Last of Us, Crash Bandicoot,
Uncharted,
Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, like, they keep going. This is how... This is where, say... the Tomb Raider creators kind of failed, because when we did Angel Darkness, you can kind of see the writing on the wall where the original creators, after 2 of them, they were just like, yeah, we kind of want to hand these over to someone else, maybe do something new, but it was so insanely popular that they had to pump games out year over year, and that's kind of what we saw from Ubisoft.
With Assassin's Creed.
This is the problem. Right. Assassin's Creed was super popular, and now they're pumping games out year over year, and it works, but you're killing the franchise. And therefore, when you do come out with a game later, you could revisit that.
See, like, later. Assassin's Creed 1, good proof of concept. The 2, like the Ezio story, like with 2 through Revelations, I really enjoyed. 3 was kind of a letdown. Black Flag was freaking incredible. And then it dropped off the face of the earth, in my opinion, until Odyssey.
Sure. Oh, Odyssey. I liked Origins.
I didn't like Origins as much as I liked Odyssey. I feel like Odyssey took the things that Origins was trying to do and made them better.
You know what? That kind of goes with my general Assassin's Creed opinion, though. I like the one that did it first. I always like that proof of concept game, like you said, to take your phrase
Well,
there.
that's exactly what Watch Dogs 1 was compared to Watch Dogs 2. It's why I'm curious to see what Legion's going to be like.
Oh yeah, I don't know about Legions. Well, my jury's out on that.
Look, we'll get to that when we get to it. It's going to be later on this year. I'm going to get it because I have.
No, it's coming out 2021, isn't it?
I thought it was coming out this year. Oh, look, either way, like I'm going to get it. Like I really liked Watch Dogs 2, but
yeah,
friggin' like I'm excited for Valhalla. I'm very curious to see if it's going to be as good as Odyssey, because like Odyssey was a very good game in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. You didn't like it.
I didn't like it at launch.
Have you gone back and played it since then?
But that's a problem. That's a big problem. I revisited it, and they fixed a lot of the leveling system that I had a huge issue with. The forced slow RPG system to encourage microtransactions.
Yeah, like I played
that.
it like 4 months later or whatever it was. Like they'd probably fix all that crap by the time I got to it.
Yeah, and I revisited it a year later, and I was like, okay, this is
better,
a little bit more improved. Yeah. It's better. I'm still not crazy about it. I think a lot of the gameplay, we've spoken about Odyssey a lot on this podcast. It's very controversial between you and I.
Yeah, but hey, like we've got differing opinions on it, which makes the conversations that much better. If we both agreed that, like, it would just be a kind of a boring conversation. We're just like kind of sucking the game's dick.
Yeah, from what I've seen in Valhalla, it looks like they're taking the Odyssey thing that made it good, and they've taken out a lot of those things that I just did not like.
That's fair. I wonder. We'll get back to Ghost of Tsushima in a minute, but I wonder if I'm going to have the option in Valhalla to play as male or female protagonists like we did in Odyssey.
Oh yeah, they already confirmed.
Good, because like I'm going to be that chick that I was in friggin' whatchamacallit and just like slaughter everybody.
Cassandra?
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah. So Ghost of Tsushima, man, the more I play the game, it just really hits home. Like, this is a game doing the formula right and kind of making its own just enough to set it apart.
100% agree.
My favorite side mission is definitely the Tomei one.
Tomei, yep.
I don't think the grappling hook is totally necessary, but fuck those assassinations when I'm jumping leap to leap. It's almost like I wish Assassin's Creed was more like this game, really.
Look, maybe you'll get a grappling hook in Valhalla?
Well, it's not the grappling hook. It's kind of just the way the game presents the battle system.
I know what you meant. I'm just being a douche.
And how it activates. Like, if I could invoke... You know what? If Assassin's Creed, you can invoke Hitman-like assassinations. Because that's what the first one did. It made it feel like you were playing Hitman, but you're an assassin going through time.
Right.
That's why I like the first one so much. And I feel like the series has become more action-oriented, which is fine. I still like it. It's just not what I fell in love with the series about.
I don't even think that there was an assassin in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It shouldn't have been called Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Well, that's the other issue altogether.
True.
But with Ghost of Tsushima, the fact that you're playing as the quote-unquote ghost, like you're getting that reputation, and it's kind of encouraging you to use these ninja techniques.
The underhanded tactics, if you will.
Right, yeah. God, I love using the smoke, just throwing a big fucking smoke bomb out.
I really like the friggin'
enemies don't know what's going on. I'll stab the leader and run away.
I love the kunai dude, because like it's just like, and friggin' I'm starting to lose this, and now you've got a kunai in your throat.
Yeah, kunai, bah! And then you just dagger them.
There's a friggin'
I have my dagger all the way leveled up, by the way.
Do you? That is awesome. There's one of them. I think it's one of the major charms that you can get where you can throw like 5 kunai at once. It's just like ridiculous.
Yep, got that. Yep, fully got that leveled up.
There's
using firecrackers to just make the enemies just freak the fuck out and run away, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna kill the leader, and then it's just gonna be you goons.
Yeah, but the other thing is too, like, with the all right. So what armor do you like? Where are you up to armor wise? Because like I need to know this before I say some stuff.
I have the Ronin armor fully upgraded.
Okay, so do you have the Sakai armor yet or not?
No.
Because, like, you can get the Sakai armor, and if you successfully do a standoff, like, with a certain charm and the armor fully upgraded, you can get, like, up to 10 strikes with the standoff or something like that. It's just, like...
No way.
Yeah, you can get, like, up to, like, 7 or 8 or 10 or something, like, if... Because, like, I think it's 5 in total for the fully upgraded Sakai armor, and then, like, you add a charm to it to, like, double it or some crap.
Oh.
So you just, like, go to a place, activate the standoff. If you do not stuff it up, you just, like, clear out an entire outpost.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, whatever way you play, you just become so crazy good at it. And yeah, because right now I got like 3 or 4 standoff abilities, so that's why I can just cut through the side towns like really easily.
Yeah.
And then with the with all the ghost techniques, like I throw a fire arrow in the middle of one of those big dudes with an axe. It explodes, light like 4 dudes on fire. Then I throw a concussion bomb. Then they're all on fire. And then and I'm just watching it all. I was like, I just killed like 20 dudes in 30 seconds. It was awesome. I feel powerful. I feel like I cheated a lot. And then I'm just looking at everyone like, yeah, call me a ghost. Do it. All right, Jay. Anything else you want to say about Ghost of Tsushima? I mean, we could talk about this for just hours.
Huh.
The entire Discord's playing this game. Kay from Big Egg Joshi podcast is playing this. You're playing this. I'm playing this. Tori from the Anime Cast is playing this. Our whole podcast is playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Right.
And loving it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's because it's a good game.
Yeah. I'm giving this an S tier. I really am.
I 100% agree with you. I would also give it an S tier.
There you go. Easy S tier.
Without
question. So I think that I think that puts it at our game of the year right now.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've both agreed on an S tier game.
It is. That's why it's game of the year.
Woo!
Ghost of Tsushima. There we go. Typing it in. So, for those wondering now, Curse of the Moon 2, I'm giving a nice little solid B. Right? It's a sequel. They didn't, they changed it up enough. They added the co-op, cool little things. I don't think it's enough to be an A, but I really like it. It's a B, a solid B tier. I moved up Dreams to an A because of the VR mode added. That's quite important. It's a big, it's if it was DLC, like that you had to pay for, I wouldn't consider it. But this was part of the main game from the start, and they just had to delay it because it's such a big add-on, and then it was free. The free is the big aspect.
Right. And
it's still in 2020, still the same year. So that's moved up. And then Paper Mario? I think if it had a little bit more difficulty to it, I would have given it an A. So I'm gonna give it the Gentleman's B. Nothing wrong with like an 85 score, I would say.
Yeah, that's that. Well, you played them, I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still playing this. I am definitely gonna finish Paper Mario Origami King. It's also cutting into my Desperados 3. I was so close to. Look, there's so many levels in that game, Desperados 3J. But fuck, I got like 4 missions left. That's at least 4, 5, 6 more hours minimum. Because each stage takes like an hour to 2. The longer you go through the game, and that was a criticism of it that I saw some people make, was Desperados 3 is just so long. It's like a stress test in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ghost of Tsushima. There you go. So, just a little recap here. If you paid attention to my Twitter, I kind of listed my my personal games of the year, not based on favorites, just based on kind of my tier rankings. And but if we go by overall tiers, not counting my mom's right now, because we do take hers into account.
Oh, do we?
Different perspective.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Right now, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, but you know our rule, and Ghost of Tsushima are our top 3 games of the year.
I thought you put Ori up there in S.
I did, but my mom did not.
Oh, okay. Right.
She was not feeling that game.
Interesting.
She thought it was fine. So it only made an A tier. So, not looking good for Last of Us Part 2. I don't think it's going to make our top 10, Jay.
Yeah.
So I'll just mark that as Curse 2. Add that in. Good stuff. Oh, shit. What a mistake. Yeah, so, redleafretrocast.blogspot.com. Go check us out. Got a nice little website there. I worked a little hard on it to make it marketable in some way.
Right.
You can go check us out. Leave us a nice little review on iTunes. Jay, it's been great. It's been another month.
It has.
Good little fun games. We got the PS5 coming out. The Sex Box. Got Crash. We got, what's that? Cyberpunk.
Is that actually coming out?
You want Tony Hawk?
Is Cyberpunk?
Yeah, it's got a release date. Yeah, it's got its 4th release date or whatever.
Do you want to take bets? Is it going to get pushed again?
I don't care. It'll come out when it comes out. Getting a PS5. I'm not buying Cyberpunk myself until the PS5 comes out. But I'll play it.
Right.
I have ways. I have my ways.
Yeah, also known as the Retro Store near you, which has game samples for you to play.
Yeah, exactly. I like hanging out with those guys.
Yeah. Well, why don't you invest money and open up one of those stores here in my town, and then I can do the same thing.
No, come on, man. I've read about Victoria.
I'm not in Victoria. I'm in New South Wales.
Yeah, that's close enough.
I may live on the border and have to go to Victoria for work, but I mean...
Yeah, see? Close enough.
Shut up. All right, well,
act like I don't know geography. I have a geology degree, damn it.
What are you, some kind of geographist?
Geographist? Geolographer?
Geolographer.
All right, let's talk. I'll be talking to my mom shortly about Ghost of Sushi. See what she has to say.
Ghost of Sushi.
Let's see if she agrees with us, Jay.
Well, if she doesn't, she's just wrong.
You know what? I with so many people on the podcast and in our Discord speaking so highly, I think it's S tier no matter what. I really do.
Until she gives it an F, and then it averages out to a C.
Then I'm like, I don't believe you.
Maybe she's just not into samurai. It's entirely possible. Samurai's not for a run.
She likes mindless killing stuff. She really does. Which is funny. Anyways. Another episode of Modern Gaming in the books. Let's talk to my mom. And you know what that music means? Mom, we're back for another month of Modern Gaming.
Modern.
Yes, modern. Recent games, not old games.
Ha.
They will be
you
old
do
someday.
Old games with other people?
I do old games all the time. And it's funny you ask. We do the Red Leaf Retrocast retro gaming section, in which we
fun.
Yes, we just came out with an episode over animal protagonists.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
When was that made? What decade?
We play games from all kinds of decades.
Uh-huh. What decade?
Mostly the 90s. Mostly the 90s, yeah. Sometimes we hit the very early 2000s, and sometimes we hit the 80s. All depends on what we pick.
No Atari games?
We've done a few Atari games. I kind of want to go through
what about
phases.
Game Boy games?
We've done a Game Boy podcast before.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
All right.
In fact, if you want to check out the whole list of games we've covered for the Modern and Retro Gaming Podcast, you can go to redleafretrocast.blogspot.com to see the master list. It's a nice little section of the page there. You just, Control F, type in the game, and you'd be like, oh, they did cover it. Go to that episode. Easy enough to find.
Cool.
So,
Very
Mother,
cool.
July has come and gone, and you have a game you need to talk about.
It has come and gone, hasn't it? Wow. Summer's almost over already.
Good. I don't like this hot weather.
Oh, my God. Well, when I can spend it at the pool, and nobody's there, it's actually quite nice. And like, I need any more peace. Nobody at the pool, so I get peace regardless.
Right.
Bum, 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 bum. Turns out that at my company, that 92% of over 2,000 employees prefer to work at home.
Oh, you don't say. It's almost like there's a virus or something going on. They don't want to go back to work.
I guess. I, on the other hand, would like to go back to work and actually socialize.
Oh no! Come on, that's in the past. This is 2020. It's all about virtual socializing.
I have to believe that of the over 2,000 employees, that the majority of them are not home alone.
Oh well, yeah, that's true.
Correct.
That's true. Most people live with this thing called a family. Good God, Kitty Cat, get out of
or
here.
They have a partner, partner in crimes and all that. So
we know nothing about these things.
I don't know anything about that. I just like to socialize, drink beer, wine, vodka, just something other than sitting in my four walls and going, what am I going to do today? Nothing. Okay. Another day of nothing.
I just had
and you know what the really bad sucky thing is I'm never late for the office anymore. I don't have an excuse.
9 o'clock. I'm here.
no accidents to worry about, other than tripping and falling in grocery stores or some stupid thing like that.
Tuesday, whatever.
Yeah. Bruise Day. It's called Bruise Day.
Bruise Day.
Not Tuesday. Right. Yeah, it's Bruise Day now.
Bruise Day. Perfect to peruse and slip in the vegetable department, as you would say. Not produce section, department.
It's a department. I work in a department.
Yeah. Well, if we're on the topics of strange just side talk.
It's always good for strange side talk.
Yeah, I made my lazy tacos and just going through the not the vegetable department, but the Mexican aisle, if you will.
Oh,
and
okay.
I saw
Mexican department.
I saw serrano peppers, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put these on my tacos."
Oh,
very good. However, very hot.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they're even hotter than a Japalino.
Yeah, it was quite a mistake to put two of them on my taco.
Oh shit!
I bit in. I bit into one. And I was like, "That's really good." And then maybe 4 seconds passed.
Right, I was going to say seconds later.
I'm like, "Oh no, this was a mistake."
Hot going in, hot going out.
This is what happened. I bit into one to test how spicy I could take it. And I'm like, okay.
You're going, that's no big deal.
No. So I was like, no big deal, no problem. Just so happened, as I cut the rest of that pepper out, because I was very curious, no seeds were in that one. They all fell out because there was a hole.
Oh.
Yeah. So therefore, that pepper fooled me, and I paid the price. So yeah, like my eyes were just watering. I just got over it like maybe 5 minutes before I called you.
Oh, wow.
It was really funny. And then at work today, a couple guys were really curious about like why I'm there, what I studied and everything, and I told, geological engineering. And they kind of cocked their heads. They're like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, geology, but engineering. They go, so how did you get to work with guns? I was like, you know what? It's a good question.
Well, powder's made from something from the geological stuff, right?
I'm like, you know,
Rocks
chemistry and the whatever, and it was just kind of funny. Like, wait,
That's funny.
I was like, yeah, I can't tell you, you know, making wells and looking at rocks. My priority coming out of college was I can't wait to work with the making of guns. What a skill I have developed paying for college.
Are you actually making guns? Or are you making gunpowder? Or are you making
I'm just keeping
bullets?
it simple in terms of the technical terms.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Barrels, rifles, and carriers, and all those kinds of things that make up a
Cool.
gun. Yeah, cool, right?
I can't wait to come see you and go on a tour of this place.
So,
Are they going to allow me to go on a tour?
Oh, currently? Absolutely not. Nobody is allowed in this building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
so what?
I, on the other hand, because you brought up food,
Okay.
and prior to you contacting me, I had just finished my dinner because I really didn't take a lunch today.
Right, because the older you get, the closer to lunch is dinner time.
Correct. We have
right.
dinners.
It is the rule. I've seen Seinfeld.
Quiet. Anyway, I made a pork chop and I made fresh spinach and I sauteed spinach and it was so freaking good with garlic.
No serrano peppers involved?
No peppers, no, nothing that's, I may or may not have a residual effect of this dinner.
I see.
Mm-hmm. But it was quite good.
I get what you're driving at.
It was quite good, though.
All right.
No hotness, just what would they say? A Southern comfort meal.
Sure.
The only thing I was missing that I had taken out, that after the amount of spinach that I made, I left off the macaroni and cheese that I was going to add with it, but I ended up eating the whole pork chop and all of my spinach, so it was better that way. The macaroni and cheese would have put me over the edge, and I probably wouldn't have finished my meal. So kind of worked out good.
Riveting.
Isn't it? The excitement of my day.
Oh my God. This is what
Pretty pathetic.
This is what we've come down
pathetic. It's pathetic. I'm pathetic. You're pathetic.
No, come on. This is great.
You are.
All right.
You're singly pathetic.
Yeah, right. I have a cat. It's fine.
Yeah, see? You're singly pathetic. I have 2 cats.
All right. So you
moving on.
Yeah.
Goes to Tsushima.
One more time for me.
Goes to sushi. Goes to Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, of course. That's what I said.
Exactly. That
Develop
took 6 years to make.
Yes, 6 years developed by.
Why does it take so long to make this? Is it because of the extreme graphics that the amount of time that the graphics take, or is it because when they first start, they had this kind of graphics, and now as time's gone on, we're talking over 5 years later, the graphics get better. I just don't understand why games take so many years like that. The last ones we talked about took 7 years, and then this took 6 years, and you had all these different developers getting involved in the game, and I'm assuming that nobody's going to stick to this making of the game, that they change out the people that are developing this game, so you got a lot of interactions of different ideas and such.
Well, unlike
tell. I was full of questions.
Yes, unlike The Last of Us Part 2, this one was developed by Sucker Punch, and it's a PlayStation exclusive. After completing their latest Infamous, they made a series of games called Infamous. They came out with one of the first games on the PlayStation 4, and then after that, they wanted to kind of get the best they could out of the PlayStation 4 and come up with an open world game, and thus, after much kind of inspiration from old samurai movies, they decided on a game like this. And that's what we got. So we got this, why don't you explain what
No, don't do
Ghost
that to
of
me.
Tsushima
Don't do that to me.
is?
Don't do that to me. You do that to me.
What
You do it.
what YouTuber did you watch? What did you see? How far did you get? Kind of situation?
Well, I actually watched Rad Brad.
Rad Brad, okay.
Rad Brad. I've watched him in some other gaming.
Yes.
Yeah. And he actually talks through it. The guy that I watched last month, there was no talking at all. It was strictly watching it being played.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like Rad Brad because it piques a little more curiosity about some things, and you understand probably a little better on the game itself. And so I choose Rad Brad as far as if I can watch him to watch the game.
Sure, hopefully he's playing the game of the month that we're discussing.
Right, which he wasn't. I did not was not
for
able.
Last of Us 2?
Yeah.
I see. All right.
So he was actually given this game prior to release. And then once it did get released, then he did a follow-up and such with it. And I did end up watching the ending.
You saw the ending of the game?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't even gotten that far.
Yeah, they actually post an ending to the game, which is what Rad Brad does also. So, I saw the ending.
Okay. Did it make sense? Did you like the ending, or do you not know enough about the story overall?
Well, and that's the thing. So I only watched an hour and a half of it.
Okay.
So, I mean, what is it, a 15-hour game, 17-hour game? It's a long game.
It's a long one.
It's many hours.
It's a long one. It's
yeah.
I'd put it up there with Last of Us 2 in terms of time. Maybe not as long as Final Fantasy VII Remake. But this one is very different compared to those other two that you've seen from the bigger game perspective of 2020 here.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, it was kind of a pretty graphic, good graphics. Very graphic with the blood splattering.
Well, it's a samurai game.
Yes, this is true. Off with their heads.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
So do you know the story of the Mongol invasion of Tsushima in Japan? Do you know this story at all?
Mm-mm.
All right. So this game is more or less about that story, but they put kind of their own little fantasy spin on it.
Is it a story or is it a history story?
It's a real thing that happened in history.
Okay.
So think of it, you know what? It might be fair to compare this to kind of the Alamo in a way. In terms of Texas history, right? The Alamo was the kind of the last stand of Santa Anna, Texas independence, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And ultimately, everyone at the Alamo died, but it ended up leading to the defeat of the big Mexican general and whatnot. Well, the Mongol invasion of Tsushima was the Mongolians came to Tsushima, and I'll just give you a loose, simple synopsis in terms. So they came to Tsushima, and the samurais. So think of your 114 men against this huge Mongolian invasion, coming off their boats, and maybe I did spend too much time in Canada. So it kind of like the beginning of the game where you just have the small amount of samurai against this giant Mongolian invasion army, and then you just get slaughtered on the beach, right?
Right.
Well,
except 2 people.
Except 2 people, right? And then it's kind of the slow coming of the island to push the Mongolians back, while and I hope I have this right, while the loose history is the small amount of samurais were able to kind of more or less band as much as they could together to keep the Mongolians from using Tsushima as like their home base, and then to inevitably invade the mainland of Japan. So,
Okay.
without this Battle of Tsushima, then who knows? Maybe Japan could be Mongolian territory to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Just like maybe without the
Sure.
Alamo, you could say maybe Texas would be part of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
In its
it
own
still is.
weird comparison. It still is. Some would say.
Some would say.
Yeah.
That border is a lot closer in.
So, the game is all about this one guy who survives this battle, and he has to then gather basically more or less the people that weren't involved and aren't samurai, and eventually push back the big Mongolian invaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a slow trek through trying to convince these people to help you out, because all the major samurai pretty much died on the beach that day.
Right.
The whole game is kind of learning about the Mongolian leader, what he did. You're basically trying to push back and take back your island before the Mongolians really just there's no stopping them, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what'd you think? What'd you think of this sucker punch game?
Honestly, the battles were, by towns, and it kind of like, that when the guy gets into a town, he's got to collect things like the character in The Last of Us had to, they just go in these places and collect whatever.
Yep, you collect resources.
Yeah.
Did you notice that
you have to follow the wind?
That's a big point in this game, yeah.
Yeah, following the wind, you control the wind. But the graphics were truly phenomenal. They were really good.
The use of colors really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Did Rad Brad ever turn on the Kurosawa mode, which made the whole game in black and white?
Yes.
Like an old samurai movie?
Yeah. He did show that part, that you could do that with the game. And
what'd you think of that?
One-dimensional when you do that. It feels one-dimensional, it just, you don't really... Black and white changes feelings, I think.
It does.
And so I don't see playing that whole game in black and white. That would just be boring to me.
So
because the graphics are too vivid to play black and white,
I'll tell you what I did, and I found this a lot of fun.
Okay.
Was as I'm just kind of traveling through the world, I have it in color. And then right before I think I'm going to get to this like major battle, and it's, one of those like one-on-one samurai fights.
Bloody splattering.
Blood splat, some Kill Bill type stuff.
Yeah.
I turn it in black and white.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, and it turns into, and the cutscenes are all in black and white too. The audio changes as
really?
well. Yes, they
cool.
really put a lot of work into sound in this game. So you can hear different bird songs and even if you change up the audio, so if you want Japanese dialogue, English dialogue, French, they use different inflections on everything as well, and the Mongolians always speak Mongolian, which is really cool. So they don't, it's not one of those where you understand what they're saying.
If it goes to French, it goes French, Mongolian.
Right, the Mongolians aren't all speaking French all of a sudden. It's just they always stay Mongolian, which I think is cool. And then there's when they're speaking quote unquote Japanese, that's all the same language. So they kept the languages quite consistent, which I really liked. Yeah. So a lot of the audio and the colors in this game were a huge feature. Big thumbs up from me.
So I didn't know that you could change the color as you're going. I thought it was, if you pick this, like the horse, if you pick the horse, you're stuck with that horse the whole game.
Oh, yeah.
You can't change it, so that's why I thought that if you pick black and white, you can't change it.
No, and I had paid attention to this game quite a lot when it was being made and about to come out. And they made a big emphasis on why black and white changes so many elements of the game. And that was the first thing I checked is, can I change this on a whim? And you can change it whenever you want. So if there was anything that I thought, could be potentially really cool in black and white or different, I tried it out. And there was this moment, and it's my favorite point in the game so far, is when you're trying to recruit an old friend / rival of your main character. And he has his little band of, bandits, I guess you could say, or mercenaries, and he kind of betrays you and joins the Mongolians because, his guys are starving and he needs food. Right? Gotcha. So it's kind of a last day. So he goes, the Mongolian leader, he put a bounty on your head. I'm here to collect. And they have it's like something straight out of you would see Kill Bill or old Kurosawa movie Seven Samurai from the 50s, where they're both standing in front of a Japanese style pond. There's the boats with the little lanterns on them, they're just covered all over the pond, and you both are standing in it. And then the camera pans out and it's showing everything. I have it all in black and white, and oh wow, it's such a cool scene. I immediately took a picture, threw it on Twitter. So let's see if I can pull it up and send it to you. Actually, because it's a really cool moment. Yeah. So while I'm doing that, tell me some other things you liked about the game.
Are there any other games that allow you to do that? Because change from color to black and white. Is this?
I've never played anything like that before.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Very cool.
There you go. I sent it to you in Messenger.
Oh, you did? Okay. Let me see. Really? There we go. Oh wow!
And that's real gameplay. That's during the game.
Oh wow! Huh.
Yeah, and the clothes I'm wearing, you can see blood splatter on his clothes. Just the attention to detail in this game was so good, and I would say mechanically, it's not as good as The Last of Us 2. There's a little things that are wonky here and then, but I would say as a whole product, this is a better game. And I haven't really come across anybody, at least in the people that listen to the podcast or are part of our community, nobody hates this game. Nobody has issues with it. Everyone truly loves it. And you mentioned before that Last of Us 2 had a lot of people leave the studio. There was different directors and producers that came in and out. This one, as far as I know, had the same team develop it from most, people come in and out, of course, but the main people involved stayed throughout the whole process.
Yeah, and started it from beginning to end.
Right.
Which it actually will show in the product. At the end, it'll show whether it works or not. Whether it meshes or not. It's going to show if you got inconsistencies for sure.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, yes, granted, you're going to have people going in and out just because, but as far as the main players that produce it, as long as they're still there, they're all on the same page.
Right.
They're not putting in their own 2 cents, or oh well, I have this different idea, let's do this. Well, it doesn't really match up.
Yeah.
So not good. So Jen Samurai and Lord Shimura.
Mm-hmm. Jin Sakai and Lord Shimura, yes.
Oh, thank you.
It's okay.
And Kutan.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the Mongolian.
Yeah. It just amazes me to see how real these characters look. And, even to the threads in their clothing and just everything. It's like watching a movie. I just really, it's really cool to me to watch that stuff. Yep. Compared to watching Nintendo from the 1980s.
Right. It's a totally different gaming environment.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And that's why I think I can watch these longer or be involved longer than when you were playing a game back in the day, because it would just frustrate me. I'm a frustrated gamer. I can't sit and keep being killed all the time. I
understand.
Yeah. But the graphics from then to now is just amazing.
Always improving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other main crux of the game, and I'm curious to your thoughts over this, is the quote unquote honor of the samurai. Okay, because you can walk up to these towns that are taken over by Mongolians, or meet them on the roads, if you will, and there's a button where you can just challenge them outright. Be a true samurai, face off, and you can upgrade your skills and whatnot, like many of the other games you've seen on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And stand off, take them out, upgrade. You can take out like 3, 4, 5, 10 guys at a time. Mm-hmm. Kitty cat, what's your deal? Oh, come here. Or because you meet a character named Yuna, or Yuma, whichever, Yuna, and she is worried about someone who's captured her brother, and she convinces him to go in quietly. Don't do what the samurai would do, because you will get the captors killed or yourself, and then that helps nobody. Mm-hmm. And so this leads to unlocking ghost abilities, aka become a ninja, basically. All right, which is not.
Yeah, and that was what I didn't get. I wasn't really sure where the ghost even, what that was about, because I wasn't getting it.
Yeah, it takes a little while to get in. Yeah. But as you play through the game, you start encountering situations that might benefit one playstyle over another. Do you want to be the badass samurai that just can take out people quick, or do you want to pick them off one by one? Because maybe there's just too many people there. Mm-hmm. And I found myself, if there was a huge area, I would pick off chunks and sections of the Mongolians using the ghost abilities. Big smoke bombs, daggers, and then for the smaller areas, or when there's X amount of people left, then I would just say, hey, come out and fight me, right? So, and that, I thought, was an interesting way to bring about how you can play the game. It leads a lot up to the player, which was one of my big criticisms of Last of Us Part 2, just to reference a more recent game that we've played.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you didn't quite understand the whole ghost ability, or maybe you just didn't.
Correct. I did not understand. I thought that. Well, I'm thinking the ghost of Tsushima was going to be one of the guys that comes back and is a ghost.
Oh, you thought the literal term of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's a really cool moment because so you're going through
At
towns.
what point do I become a ghost?
Oh, I'm explaining that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry.
You're going through the island. You're liberating towns. You're gathering people to rescue the character's uncle, the Lord. Okay. You rescue him only about a third of the way through the game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right when you get to a forge area, you rescue Yuna's brother, and he's a master of the forge. So needs to build weapons, take back this big town, this iron town. And here comes a ton of Mongolians. And you and Yuna just destroy all these people, utilizing all skills that you have available. And there's just so many, you kind of are more or less forced into a situation to just murder all these guys at any cost. And upon beating all these people, there's the people in town that were hiding, and they all see Jin kill all these Mongolians in this wild way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smoke bombs, exploding arrows, fire, all kinds of things. And him and Yuna, Jin and Yuna look at each other and are like, hell yeah, we just accomplished that. We saved all the people, right? Good for us. It's almost like a high five with their eyes. And they got a smirk on their face. And then Jin looks back at the people, and they're watching him. And the people then say, I've never seen a samurai fight this way. And they look frightened of him because of his actions. They were unbecoming of a samurai, right? And so they're very hesitant, and then Yuna says the words, no, he is a ghost. He is a ghost because he is the vengeful spirit of the fallen samurai that will drive back the Mongolians at all costs.
Which was actually his father.
No, his father died because he was a coward when he was a young boy, a young lad. Yeah. His father was murdered by a thief or something, or someone, and his father begged him for help, and he hid for his life. So he didn't save his father, and it kind of haunts him to this day. If he was more brave or stronger or what have you, it's kind of one of his.
But isn't the ghost? So that sword is actually the ghost of his father, for him to get revenge for what he didn't do for his father?
It's definitely a character motivation for him to be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe there's something later in the game I haven't experienced with where more will be revealed.
Mm-hmm. How far into the game are you?
I am if I'm to put a percentage out of it, I would probably say I'm 45%.
Okay.
Yeah. I've also been playing a couple other games for the month that I discussed with Jay that I also had a lot of fun with. It wasn't kind of that 1 month focus like I did with Last of Us Part 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Paper Mario came out. I played a game with Joey for a number of hours. Yeah, it was just lots of fun.
Because he's on quarantine, isn't he?
Oh, he's definitely quarantined.
Yeah. He's got some kind of virus, right?
Well, yeah, you might say that. And what's funny is we played a game called Grounded. So there you go.
That was appropriate.
Very appropriate in hindsight.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, so it's a samurai game. I expressed my opinion with Jay that said I felt like I was playing an old samurai movie. I was very into the story. It's very dreary. It's very serious.
It's dark.
It's dark,
it's a
but
dark.
I thought it was very consistent. It hit its tones quite well.
Yeah. If you like sword fighting and blood splattering and want, to me, to be able to play a game in black and white or color, and
which is weird coming from you since you watch a lot of black and white shows.
However, here's the thing: there's a difference because the black and white shows were made for specifically lighting and everything changes specifically for black and white. And one producer was Alfred Hitchcock, who liked playing with black and white with light.
Oh, they did a lot of that with this game in the black and white. That's why I kept going back to it.
And it's not easy because you really have a different mindset, because you only can work with, you know, the light and how it plays off of certain materials, different things, you know, that if you have color, you already know that color, it's going to be light, it's going to be muted, it's, you know,
Sure.
But when you have black and white, you there's a lot more to it than just black and white.
Yeah.
And from the picture, seeing that, they did a good job.
Oh, a phenomenal job. And the fact that
very dramatic, because black and white can be very dramatic, and they did do that.
The fact that the audio also changes when you put it in black and white to make it sound like it's from that era was a real cool touch. Yeah. So you've also
I'd like to see it when you play.
Oh,
when
I'll pull it up. I will
black and white, I'd love to watch you play sometime. For you. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to see that. The ending, I won't tell you the ending, but I was surprised at the ending. I didn't expect that. So I didn't expect that type of ending.
I have my character theories over a lot of these people that
disappointment. Can I say whether I was happy or sad?
Of course you can.
I was happy, sad. I was mainly sad.
Oh.
I was mainly sad.
I'm more or less kind of expecting some Alamo moment.
Yeah.
To reference my Texas childhood.
There was no dramedy. There was no dramedy. It was
that's
pure. Good. Yeah. It was drama.
So you also played Nioh 2 this year, the other kind of samurai sword fighting blood and guts game. How would you compare that to this one? Or this one to that?
I'd have to get my notes. I didn't know I was having a test.
It has been about, I want to say 5 months since you've seen that game.
Yeah.
But your overall grade then?
Yeah, I would definitely give this a 2 thumbs up for the type of game that it is, for sure. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy it. I went through all of part 1 with Rad Brad, so that was an hour and a half. And I almost went to part 2, but I'm like, I can't do that, because then so I went straight to the ending.
Oh my God! Okay, you missed the whole middle.
Yeah, so I missed the whole middle. Just like I go, I know what the ending is, and we had talked about Last of Us, the ending, right? So I got to see the ending of Last of Us, and I go, oh my God, that was so lame. That was so bad.
But you like this one, so that's good. Okay, so 2 thumbs up. S, A, B, C, D, F. What do you got?
Oh, I would give it a B plus towards
only a B plus,
B plus plus.
Okay. So what's keeping it from the higher grades for you? Yeah.
Well, what really struck me was the graphics being very graphic, with the blood splattering, literally.
It's too mature for you mean?
Literally on the camera thing. I was like, oh my God.
So it's like an 89 for you.
Well, I'm not a fan. I never have been a fan of real graphic games. But a lot of people like that. I wasn't a fan of
I understand. I
wasn't a fan of the graphics from Last of Us, with the violent graphics.
Oh no.
I'm gonna mute this a second. I got a cough really bad.
Oh boy.
Whew. Okay.
I'm glad you survived. So, one last little bit of info, and then we'll clock out here for the evening.
Okay.
This is the best-selling physical game, or best-selling game in its more or less debut week for first party. And what that means is it's not a sequel, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first of its series, and it sold more than 2.4 million already.
Wow.
So it's a rousing success. I expect this game to continue to go up in sales with its really, really good user reviews and feedback, even though some major critics kind of criticize it for not really breaking grounds in the gaming industry wise. It doesn't break. It doesn't really do anything totally new, but what it does, it does very well. So it's just, you know, in order to get those like 9, 10 out of 10 reviews, you need to do something that no one's ever done before, basically. Change the industry in some way.
Is this rated R?
It's rated M for mature. So gaming has E for
that's right.
E for everyone, T for teen.
Ratings.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it would be rated R if we're comparing it to a movie rating. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you really liked it. I'm still going to put you down for an A.
Yeah, I mean,
B++. You can't do that. I'm rounding up.
I can do that. All right, make it an A.
It's your only A of the year, so.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This was your 2, 4, 6, 7th game of the year, Mother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah. So it's going to be slow for the rest of the year. I'll be curious to what other games we might slip in here, in and out. I'm kind of making a slow list as we go about the months, since it's supposed to be E3 going on this summer, and supposed to have a bunch of games coming out for the rest of the year, but with the new consoles coming out at year's end, who knows at this point?
We shall see.
We shall see.
All
right, Mother.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Can't wait to have you again next month.
Thank you.